What's up, YouTube? It's TF Collector, and today I'll be reviewing the Transformers Studio Series 86 Deluxe Class WINDCHARGER from the Transformers the movie. And before we take a look at the figure itself, we will first take a look at the packaging that he does come in. Right up front, we have a nice picture of WINDCHARGER in both robot and alt modes. Transforms in 12 steps. Transformers Studio Series, the Transformers the movie, WINDCHARGER, Hasbro. On this side of the box, a nice profile image of WINDCHARGER. There's his name, Studio Series, the Transformers the movie. The rest of that picture there going on, very nice artwork, an Autobot logo, Studio Series, Deluxe Class in all kinds of languages. On the back of the packaging, the Transformers the movie, WINDCHARGER, a nice little bio here. WINDCHARGER uses his magnetic powers to fight the Decepticons. Spoiler alert, he failed miserably. On this side, we have a nice screen grab that looks more like the poster from the 86 movie. Some more pictures of WINDCHARGER there. There is his little Energon electric bubble thing that I'll show off more later. 12 steps, more than meets the eye. Barcode Hasbro on the bottom, nothing on the top. The Transformers the movie, WINDCHARGER, Takara Tomy. And one last thing before we take a look at the figure, he does, of course, include in the packaging his instruction manual. There is a picture of WINDCHARGER, Studio Series, the Transformers, the movie, WINDCHARGER, 8 and up on the back, Takara and Hasbro. And now moving to the figure itself, here is WINDCHARGER as he appeared in the Transformers the movie and the Generation 1 cartoon. And overall, I think this is a really neat little figure, very accurate to this source material. But coming in close here on the alt mode, you can see right up front some nice silver used up here in the front. Looks very nice, along with this little blue color down here. And as you can see, the headlights and whatnot all molded in. All of the tires are pinned on and painted silver, so that is beautiful. Wheels, rather, not tires. The tires are just plastic, of course, to be expected with a mainline figure. But right here on the hood, we have a nice Autobot logo, split down the seam, but does line up pretty perfectly, so it looks very nice. Some nice blue translucent windows and windshield around. The back windshield is done in this black. It kind of looks like it has, I'm not sure what that's called, I'm going to be honest, but I see it on a lot of Mustangs, and it's supposed to look like that, so looks good to me. But coming around here to the back, no taillights painted in anywhere, unfortunately, but you can see still not an ugly backside of the vehicle. And there's the top, there is the bottom, and due to the, he does have a visible head, but due to the pinned on wheels, he can roll very smoothly, which is very nice. And accessory-wise with WINDCHARGER, we do get 2 accessories, which is very nice for a deluxe. First, we get his little blaster here, just done in unpainted gray plastic. Maybe wish they could have gave this a gunmetal color, but still looks pretty nice nonetheless. So there is one of his accessories, and the other is this little magnetic force field that he can project, and that looks very nice. I am a fan of the gold yellowish coloring they used there. Looks pretty nice. Now, this is translucent plastic, of course, so be careful. You don't want to break anything, but it does feel pretty solid. I don't think anyone's going to be breaking this very often, but these can both store here in the alt mode. For the blaster, we will flip him down here to the bottom, and you will see there is a tab right there on the inside of the back wheel, and basically you can do it on either side. Me personally, I'm going to use this side, so basically you want to make sure that little handle there gets tucked down beside the leg, and then just tab that right in. So you do have to do a little bit of finagling just due to the way it works, but it does tab right in there, and it will hold in English, nice and secure, like, if I could speak. As for the force field, nowhere really to put it storage-wise, but he can be projecting it in alt mode, and basically you'll just use that skinnier tab there and plug it into the front of the car, like so, and now you can have WINDCHARGER projecting magnetic force fields. And for a few quick alt mode comparisons, first here is WINDCHARGER with the 86 Deluxe Bumblebee, so you can see how those two look together, looking very nice. Here he is with the 86 Deluxe Bronze, so you can see how he looks with another character around the same height as him in robot mode. And last but not least, here he is with the 86 Commander Optimus Prime, so you can see how he looks with the leader of the Autobots. Unfortunately, I don't have the Generations gears. Hopefully they give him a Studio Series rendition sometime in the future, because I do try to stick strictly to Studio Series, but do think that figure looks awesome. So give us a gears in Studio Series, but for now, that's our alt mode comparisons. And with all of that said and done, that is about all I have to say for the alt mode. Looks very accurate to the source material, so it gets no complaints from me. But we are going to go ahead and transform this guy. And this is a pretty simple, straightforward transformation, which I do kind of appreciate because it's fun to go back and forth between it, and it's simple. But the first thing we're going to do is just pull on the front grill here and get that little piece of fuzz out of there. You don't want to stare at that. But pull on the front grill to untab that, and then everything up top here will untab. And then you're going to bend at this joint here backward like so, and then you can straighten these two joints out here as well like so, and that's going to straighten his legs out. Now what we want to do is come here and get this piece undone. It basically tabs into the arms on either side, and I do sometimes have a little bit of trouble getting it untabbed. As you can see, it does tab in down there also, so try to get that undone. I did just cut my nails, which doesn't help very much. Maybe? Come on, don't make me cut. Don't make me cut. Don't make me do a camera cut, WINDCHARGER. Thank you. Just bring that up and out of the way. Thought I was going to have to do it. And then what we can do is swing around here and just untab the arms. You can see that red tab there. We'll go into that slot right there. So just untab those and bring them out. You can then bring them down at the shoulder like so on each side, and then bring the hands out on either side. And last but not least, take this wheel and spin it around like so on each side. So you have the arms looking like that. As for the backpack, you can see there's a tab there that will just go underneath of there, and you do have to give a little bit of force, but that will snap into place very nicely. And that is your upper body all done. For your lower body, you can see it's already started to do it for me, but split all of this in half, and then what you're going to do is fold this piece over, fold this piece over, and basically you will see there is a tab right there that will go into that groove right there. So basically just swing all of that in, make sure everything is compacted, line that up so that goes right into that groove like so, and that is how you want the leg looking. Do the same thing on the other side, of course. Just compact everything up nicely, bring it up, use that groove that right in. Come on, there we go. I do have one side that likes to pop out sometimes, but there we go. Get that nice and snug, and with all of that done, there is WINDCHARGER, if he will stand straight, in his robot mode. And just as he was in alt mode, this guy is very faithful to the source material. An awesome little figure in my opinion. But coming in close so you can first see the head sculpt, you can see done nicely there with that bluish gray color that they use for WINDCHARGER, with the blue eyes and just an unpainted gray faceplate, but still looks pretty good. Coming down the body, a new Autobot logo revealed there in robot mode, more of that bluish gray color. And just coming down the leg, of course he doesn't really have feet, he more has like shins, but that is accurate to the cartoon, so can't complain about it. But just coming up the arm, very basic, but that is sticking to the cartoon design, so can't really complain. Backpack wise, nothing to see here, which is always awesome. Maybe a little bit more kibble here on the back of the leg than I would like to see. Maybe could have compacted that a little more, but still just a minor complaint. Overall, I think this guy turned out beautiful. And articulation-wise, we do have quite a bit that we can cover here. First of all, the head can rotate side to side, a full 360. And if you notice, as I was rotating him, there is this little lever on the back of his head. And if you pull that down, his face will look upward. And if you push it back up, his face will look downward. So that is a very nice inclusion. Due to transformation, you do get a little bit of shoulder shrugging going on there. These shoulders themselves are on ball joints. They can do a full 360. They can only go out that far, but they can move in and out. You do have rotation right above the elbow as far as the elbow goes, slightly over 90. The wrists are on ball joints, but they cannot really rotate just due to the way it is designed. They can only move back. Sadly, wish they could have designed that to where they could rotate on that ball joint, but the waist can rotate a full 360 degrees. The legs can kick forward that far, backward, way back there that far, outward, do a full split. You do have rotation at the thigh, and you do have a couple joints to work with here. You have your knee joint right there, so you can bend there, and if you untab this piece, as it's doing for me, you also have that joint due to transformation, so you can get like a double knee bend if you kind of tuck that in there, but that is totally up to you. Let me get that back where it is supposed to be. But you do also get not really an ankle pivot, but a shin pivot. And I mean, that is a deep shin pivot, but very nice. Overall, some great articulation. Just wish they could have molded those wrists to where they could rotate on that ball joint. And if we bring back in WINDCHARGER's accessories, we can first store them if we want to. As far as the blaster goes, you use this little post right here and it will port right into his booty. Right into his booty hole. There it goes. That's your storage. Hooray. And as for this one, you'll once again use the smaller tab, and it can tab right onto his back right there. So that is very nice storage from the front. You can just barely see the little magnet thing, but very nice storage. But he can, of course, do other wieldings with these weapons. First of all, well, as I drop everything with the blaster, what you can do is just tab it into his hand, and you can just tab that right in there, and he can hold his blaster. And as for the little magnetic force field thing, you're going to use the thicker tab with the skinnier tab on the top, and that is just going to tab in right there. So just tab that in like so. Now it does kind of block his face, so you might want to kind of like turn it to the side, but that does give for a very cool display option. And if you don't want to pretend it's a magnetic force field, what I originally thought it was him getting totally blasted and murdered in the Autobot City battle. So if you want it to be that, it can also be that, because, you know, that's the only way we see him in the 86 movie. And now for some quick robot mode comparisons. First, here is WINDCHARGER with 86 Deluxe Bumblebee. So you can see he is a good few heads taller than Bumblebee. Here he is with 86 Brawn. So you can see they are about the same height from head to head. Brawn just extends a little more due to that little plate behind his head. But last but not least, here he is with the big guy, 86 Commander Optimus Prime. So you can see how he looks with his heroic leader there. And for a non-figure comparison, here is WINDCHARGER with a CG image of how he appeared in the G1 cartoon and the Transformers the movie, so you can see just how accurate they got this guy compared to his source material. So this has been my review for the Transformers Studio Series 86 Deluxe Class WINDCHARGER from the Transformers the movie. And overall, there is a lot to love here. Both the robot and alt modes are super accurate to how WINDCHARGER appeared in the original cartoons. And the accessories he includes are actually very nice. Wish they could have given that blaster a little bit more of a paint job or a different color plastic, but I can see why they did it, because obviously they were using the same plastic as his legs and his face and whatnot. But the other magnet piece there is a very nice inclusion, something that they did not have to include, but I'm very glad they did, because it makes for some very cool display options. The transformation, while very simple, as you can see right there, only 12 steps, is very fun and super enjoyable to repeat. I found myself flipping this guy back and forth from robot and alt mode a lot of times over the past few days, not just to learn the figure for this review, but also because I've actually been enjoying playing around with him. So overall, just a very, very fun figure. I hope we get more of these little guys. Like, I hope they put Gears in Studio Series, Seaspray maybe, and whoever else they want to throw in here. I would be more than happy to stack up the 86 collection with figures like this. So this has been my review for WINDCHARGER. If I had to scale him from 1 to 10, I'm going to give him a very solid 9 out of 10. Just overall a very fun figure. Does have the little bit of hollow there in the legs, and overall just some little things I would adjust, but still gets a 9 just because of the play value and how fun he is to flip back and forth between modes, and just how great he looks on a shelf, especially with the inclusion of that magnet piece there. So that's my review for WINDCHARGER. We will have more reviews coming soon of the new Studio Series wave, along with some of the other Age of the Primes figures from the last wave that I still haven't gotten to because I am slacking. But that's it for now. Don't forget, never sacrifice the things you love for the approval of others. Look forward to those reviews, and until then, roll out. Peace!